What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this is my quick review of the DM009 Conqueror. And this is it right here. Pretty awesome looking model. And I must say that I think they might have been watching my videos. The original DM007 had a white version and a black version, and I actually took the both shells and made a version that looked similar to this. The two-tone was the same as this. I was calling it the Space Ghost. But anyhow, it might just be me. Maybe it's just me. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. But this thing, I think they finally got it right. Now, with the original DM007, I think maybe the vision was bringing the versatility of being a sporty quad with the ability to be a decent camera bird at the same time. I think they finally got that done with this model here, correcting most of the gripes that we had with the original DM007. Now, the main thing with the original DM007 was vortex ring state. That was the main problem with it, because the original DM007 had tiny props on it. The props on the original DM007 looked fitting to be props for a micro and not a aircraft this size. The original DM007 was about this size, but it has CG022 style props on it, and it used to suffer vortex ring state. It did have a unique motoring system. It had like brushed motors that were like the Tarantulas or the Cyma X8s motors, but they were a little smaller, size in between that and the 8.5 millimeter motors. It was larger than those, but smaller than the Cyma X8s motors. And it was direct drive with those little props on it. And it did provide enough power to get it flying really well without the camera. But once you added the camera, it starts suffering vortex ring state. The props were just too small, I think. And so they did address that with the second DM007 version. They went from the CG022 style props to the Parrot Rolling Spider size props. And so it did increase the lift on it a little, but it still suffered vortex ring state sometimes. So they didn't all the way correct the problem. But I can say that the second version of the DM007 did correct the lighting problem. The original DM007 only had a little eye up here, which was really cool, I might add. But the eye used to go back and forth like that. And that was all the lighting you had for the front of the aircraft, though. And in the rear, you had some lights, but it had blue in it. The lights were alternating, I think, because it used to change from blue to red, if I'm not mistaken. And so sometimes you would have blue in the rear and, you know, with the blue light in the front. And most of all, it just wasn't enough lighting for it, let alone being the same colors in the rear and the front sometimes. So it wasn't a good night flyer at all. They did correct that with the second version of the DM007, as they added some lenses, some clear lenses on the bottom of the motor pod, and they did add great lighting in there. So they fixed the problem with it being a great night flyer after that, but they lost in the process. They lost the coolness of that light that used to go back and forth. I really wish they would bring that back. That's missing in this version as well. But this version here is the best of the three, actually. This one, they corrected the vortex ring state. They tackled it completely. No more vortex ring state with this thing with the camera on. Because they went from the original motors that they were using for the first two versions of it, and they went to 8.5 millimeter 2S rated motors in here, in a geared prop system here with these mini Tarantula sized motors there in a geared system. So that provides more than enough lift for this thing. This thing has a ton of power. It's still 2S, and it's just completely rid of the vortex ring state. And they didn't stop there. They even corrected the camera. They actually upgraded the camera to 1080p. So 1080p camera on this thing now. which is awesome. And they gave this thing automatic height hold or altitude hold, so that makes for more stable shots and all with the camera. And they didn't stop there. They even upgraded the battery here. So now we went to 600 mAh, 7.4 volt battery. So this combined with the geared motor system on this thing gives you longer flight times. So now this thing gets upwards of 9.5 to 10 minutes of flight time. I think more like 9.5 to 9 minutes of flight time with this. So really decent flights with it now, longer flights. And the transmitter is better. They copied Cyma's transmitter here. So, but it does self-center. Now, that's one thing that I wish they would stop doing with all of these models. Adding altitude hold, but not giving us the option to remove or fly without the altitude hold. And I think they shouldn't really put self-centering on a throttle stick, because if you remove the altitude hold or give us the option to remove it, turn it on and off, then you're stuck flying a quad sporty with this self-centering throttle stick, which makes it awkward to fly a sporty quad with altitude hold on or off with a self-centering throttle stick. They should do more. I like more of what the Traxxas 8 has, what they did with that. They actually left the throttle stick alone, left it normal, and it just beeps it to let you know if you're not perfectly centered. So you'll know if you're slowly ascending or descending or whatnot. So, but I guess that's asking for too much. This thing is a really sporty flyer, flies really nice. And they actually have Cyma's, they stole Cyma's connection too, the way that the camera snaps on there. And Cyma cameras actually do fit on the bottom of this thing and vice versa. So that's a plus. If you have a Cyma model with that style camera, you can swap the camera and put it on your Cyma or whatnot to have 1080p or vice versa. So pretty awesome with this model. It flies really nice, has a decent pitch, a decent yaw. I wish the yaw was a tad bit more fast for sporty flying, but it's not a problem at all. It has deep enough pitch to actually change directions fast enough when you're trying to do maneuvering and fly it sporty. These landing gear do come off. They can be removed, but I have the camera on. That's why I have them on there, and so you guys can see what it looks like with it on. And just an awesome little flyer here. I am impressed with it. I really like it. And so it comes with an awesome instructions manual, very detailed and in perfect English. Explains everything you need to know about this thing. It does have headless mode and all of that stuff. All the bells and whistles. It does come with a 4 GB SD card, which is inserted in here. And it comes with a card reader. And it comes with prop guards there. You can see the screwdriver that they always throw in there for us. And it came with a wall charger for the battery. Oh yeah, that's one thing that I wish they would well, I guess it's too small. I'm just nitpicking now. The battery, I was going to say that I think they should have a balance port on here to charge it with your hobby raid charger. But I guess this is okay, just charging it in the wall like that. And it comes with an extra set of spare props. So, pretty awesome little flyer here. They finally got it right. The third time is a charm. The DM009 Conqueror. Thanks for watching.